In presentation, anime and manga don't tend to aim for pure realism. Obviously, this is a bit of a generalization, but I think it's fair to say that the majority of popular and well-known series tend to have a lot of fantasy or sci-fi elements. This isn't a bad thing by any means, but it does give me an appreciation for stories that are a little bit more down to earth and not much different than what we do from our day-to-day life. Today I'm going to talk about a manga that fits into that description perfectly, Solanine. Written by author Inio Asano, who is known for works such as Goodnight Pun Pun, Nijigahara Holograph, and others. I admit I haven't read any other manga by Asano, so this is my first exposure to his work, and it did make quite an impression. In many ways, it is different from what I'm used to reading, mainly because it's pretty short, only 28 chapters, and is just contained in a single book. It's a slice of life story that really hones in on simple dynamics between young adult characters ranging from jobs, relationships, and just managing life in general. At the beginning of the manga, we are introduced to Meiko, a 24-year-old girl working as an office lady but hates it, while her boyfriend Taneda works as an illustrator that barely gets them by. Eventually driven to quit her job, Meiko and Taneda reunite with their old friends from college and get back into a band that they had back in the day. The story essentially focuses on all these characters, navigating through life and making ends meet. And that's honestly the big reason why I like this story. While Solanin has recognizable tropes seen in manga, it definitely doesn't overdose on them, and that helps it retain a very direct and realistic approach with its themes, mainly being managing adult life and the uncertainty of the future. Even though I personally can't say that I relate 100% to every single character's struggles, I understand it very easily because even with the stuff that I haven't experienced myself, I can definitely think of someone who does. Most people reading can probably say the same, and that's what works so well about Solanine. Everyone deals with questions like, what actually makes my life meaningful, or how am I going to find a job I care about at some point in their lives. For that reason, I recommend this manga the most to people who are in college or a little bit older trying to find a job after school. That's not to say that someone a little younger can't enjoy it, but it's a manga that definitely is best appreciated by those who have had experiences being away from home and making bigger decisions. I don't want to give away too much in terms of spoilers, but the whole final act pushes the themes further by having the cast take some risks in spite of the uncertainty. And the fact that they're all pretty average people only makes it all the better. It just hit the nail on the head perfectly for me. Even though it may seem frightening and maybe not everything turns out perfectly, things do find their way when we make the effort. Asano wrote an afterword for the manga, further establishing his feelings when writing Solanine. Asano wrote, "I drew Solanine when I was about 24 years old. I had just graduated from college and was feeling a bit insecure about my ability to succeed as a manga artist, and whether I would be able to continue to draw manga that were true to myself. In my anxiety and impatience, I felt that all I could do in my manga was try to get a true depiction of the times as experienced by my generation. Lovers, friends, money, jobs, a society with an unclear future, one's own pride. Writhing in these multiple, entangling factors, perhaps they are unable to draw any conclusions. Perhaps this instant, now, is just a small part of their futile daily lives. The only thing that's certain is that they can never return to the days gone by. There's nothing cool about these characters. They're just your average 20-somethings who blend into the backdrop of the city. But the most important messages in our lives don't come from musicians on stage or stars on television. They come from the average people all around you, the ones who are just feet from where you stand. That's what I believe." Honestly, I understand perfectly how Asano feels. Speaking only for myself, I'm 23 years old, still in college trying to get a degree, looking at different job opportunities, and also a bit surprised I'm making videos again after years. I don't know every detail of the future ahead of me, but that's not a bad thing at all. I think what matters the most is that I can do my best to find joy in what I do right now and learn as I go from any mistakes that I might make now or might make later. For that reason, I recommend Solanine. Thanks for watching. And yes, go and like and subscribe if you liked what you just saw.